Sports Force starts now.
This is Sports Force, a Garage Sports Media production. I am one of your hosts, Ayron, and with me is Mr. Ryan Bass. Ryan, how are you this afternoon?
I'm doing well.
That's good.
I have a show tonight.
Where are you going?
Avenged Sevenfold is headlining here in Denver, Colorado, at the Ball Arena with Kim Dracula.
Kim Dracula.
Never heard of her.
But that's a great Deftones song. Do you know that one?
No.
Ooh, that's one of my favorites.
No. But it's going to be a live time, so.
It's at Ball Arena?
Yeah.
That's
got good
sweet
seats. So I'm looking forward to some headbanging and, some good entertainment.
I was actually supposed to see the Deftones at the Ball Arena.
Yeah.
I had tickets, bought them like a year in advance. The show kept getting canceled.
Right.
The weekend of the show, I was not paying attention. Totally missed it.
Okay.
So I paid for tickets, didn't even go to the show.
Don't you have tickets coming up for another rock group like Guar and
I haven't
others?
bought them. Actually, I forgot that show was even happening.
Okay, I thought you had the
But
tickets.
that's at Fiddler's Green, I believe. That's outdoor. I've never seen a metal show at the Ball Arena. So we're both metalheads.
Yep.
Which is one of the first times we connected when we started talking.
Yeah. This new CD of theirs, Life is But a Dream, is very pleasing to me. It's very creative. It's like far away from anything else they've done in the past. And it really caught my attention as a former musician who can pick up certain things or tweaks that they make to, an album.
They did a lot different this time.
Yeah, and it's actually their most guitar-centric album, even though a lot of it sounds like, effects and whatnot. It's all guitars with different...
it's so different.
Yeah, it's just all guitar with different settings on it to make it sound like something a little bit, more poppy or whatever. But it's great. So my son, who's only 12, is going to his first rock show tonight.
Dude, that's sweet.
So we're looking forward to it.
I don't think I went to my first one until I was like 16.
Same. I went to Slayer for my 16th.
Fucking Slayer.
Yeah, and I had just gotten my license, but it was still paper, and the bouncer didn't want to let me in, but he heard it from all of Slayer Kingdom, whatever you want to call them. They were all threatening him to pretty much let me in, bunch of bikers.
And just on a football note, since we are a sports podcast,
Yeah.
I'm still petitioning for like Metallica to do the halftime show. Because if you ever go to a sports show, it's all metal that they play throughout the game.
Right.
And then we never get that as the Super Bowl show. Like Enter Sandman,
Right.
Guns N' Roses, Welcome to the Jungle. That's a classic.
Yeah, and this year they selected Usher, which...
Usher.
I mean, they could have done so much better. No offense. I really think that was like a kind of like a what the fuck type of pick, especially after they had, Dr. Dre, Eminem, Snoop Dogg,
God,
50
that was
Cent,
awesome.
all of them. You have to like go up from there. You can't like settle for Usher after you have a lineup like that.
I know. They're always so safe. Ever since the Justin Timberlake, Janet Jackson, they've always been so safe. I mean, they had the Red Hot Chili Peppers play to a CD or a track. They didn't even play live.
You remember that one Super Bowl where they had Prince do Purple Rain?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was legendary. I'll tell you right now. Like, that was legendary. That'll never happen again.
No. Well,
for many reasons, but
it really can't now.
But just to have that kind of, presence and just the rain that was actually happening, it was perfect. It was fitting. So anyways, on to sports though.
Yeah, we should probably talk sports.
We should probably talk sports.
We got a bunch of games. So this is Thursday. We've got Thursday night football with my Green Bay Packers taking on the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, that's coming up. So Detroit at Green Bay. This was a hard one for me to choose, but I am going to go with the Detroit Lions.
I hate you forever. You're not my friend anymore.
If that's all I needed to do, I would have done that a long time ago.
All right. I'm half homer pick, half actually believing this.
Yeah.
It's a vibes game for me. The Packers coming off that come from behind win.
Yeah.
They get Christian Watson and they get Aaron Jones back tonight. It's in Lambeau. The
I did
Packers
not know.
have unfinished business because the Lions knocked them out of the playoffs last year. Granted, that was
right.
the Aaron Rodgers era. But you know what? I don't see any quit in this team. I think they're going to want to pull off the win.
Yeah.
So give me the Packers, and they take the division.
Yeah, I mean, with their some of their most viable weapons coming back, I do like the matchup there. But also Detroit is, proving to be, legit.
It's a tough Detroit defense.
This is a tough game. It was tough for me to pick. I originally went with the Packers, but my gut tells me Detroit. So next up, we've got Atlanta at Jacksonville. Jacksonville, you've got to win. The Jaguars, you've got to put it together. Trevor Lawrence, you're fucking sucking it up big time this year. I'm talking like golf ball through a garden hose.
Jesus Christ.
And it's not looking good for you, but you have to turn it around on this game. I mean, this is like your last chance. This is like desperation at its finest tonight. Or sorry, Sunday. Opening up the games. He's got to put something together. So I'm going to go with the Jaguars on this one.
I do not believe in the Jaguars. I got a bunch of shit when we put out our AFC picks. I didn't have them going to the playoffs. I doubted myself, and I never should have done that.
Yeah.
I've got no faith. I'm going to be a Jacksonville hater the rest of the season. I really don't have anything negative against them. I just don't believe.
Yeah.
Give me an Atlanta team that's scrappy with a good defense, just enough to squeak out this win and really send the Jaguars on a free fall. So I've got Atlanta, and this is the London game. We've got Sunday morning football.
It's at 7:30.
In the morning.
Yep. I will be up and ready to watch it. Somehow I need to get my wings the night before so I can just like wake up and be ready to go.
But you're talking about leftover wings. That's never good.
Yeah, but I mean they don't open till like 11.
You get yourself a good omelet.
And they don't do delivery.
No.
Willie's Wings and Morrison, what the fuck?
Listen,
You've never done, I've got a bone to pick with you. You've never done any delivery. DoorDash doesn't do anything for you guys. I mean, so we always have to go to you guys in Morrison to get our food. And it would be next level if they would let DoorDash or Uber Eats or one of you guys, so they can deliver.
I'm surprised they don't do Uber Eats.
They don't do any of that.
I don't know how any of that stuff works. I don't use Uber Eats.
Yeah.
So I don't know how they even get on there or not.
Well, it makes it easier to not have delivery services in terms of like your own people that you have to hire.
Yes.
Yes. So I would think that they would at least do that, but no. I mean, they haven't gotten with the times. Either way, I'm going to get Willie's Wings this week.
All right, 10-4.
All right, cool. Next game up, we've got Miami at Buffalo. I'm going with the red hot Dolphins. They are phenomenal, and after putting up a 70 piece on a Sean Payton, I think that they're a little bit more legit at this point in time than the Bills, albeit the Bills are looking good. They're starting to come into their form, what we expected them to be, but none of us expected Miami to be this good. So for that reason, give me the Dolphins.
I agree. Not much to say because the Dolphins are coming off almost putting up a historic amount of points.
Yeah.
I mean, this is going to be a fun game. It's probably the one I'm most interested in watching because we got finally two good teams playing each other.
I'm excited.
I just think the Dolphins with that super fast offense, and they get Jalen Waddle back.
Jalen Waddle.
He's out of concussion protocol, so
It's great for my fantasy.
good times. All right.
Yeah.
So we both agree on that one.
Yeah. At least we're starting to agree and disagree a little bit more on these picks this week because last week, if you guys don't recall, we chose all of the same teams except Chargers and Vikings. So he won last week because of that one game alone. Other than that, we were pretty much picking all the same teams.
It was
to win.
the same. So I'm up 5 points to your 2 points on different picks.
Noted.
But there's a lot up for grabs this week.
Yep, noted. So next up, you've got the Toilet Bowl, as we referred to.
The first of 2 toilet bowls this week.
The Toilet Bowl. You've got Denver at the Bears. And this one was like, I don't know, either team could win, but I'm going to put my faith in Sean Payton to restore himself a little bit against a bad Bears team. I don't even think Justin Fields should be playing quarterback. Maybe he could try out for a different position, maybe running back or something. I don't know.
Maybe he should.
He's not a quarterback in my opinion. So for that reason, I think they will have a slight edge over the Bears at best. So give me the
I'm going to disagree with you on that one. I'm going with the Bears. I can't believe I'm actually picking the Bears. And the only reason I'm going against it,
I'd be fine with that.
I mean, this could go either way, right?
Yeah.
The only reason I'm taking the Bears over the Broncos is after the Broncos got embarrassed, they did absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
I think they've got bad culture. I think that's going to spill out into this game. Russell Wilson will still be fine.
Yeah.
They might unleash Justin Fields just to let him run.
Yeah.
You got the same Broncos defense. Give me the Bears.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So next up, you've got Baltimore at Cleveland. I'm going with Cleveland, the number 1 ranked defense. Myles Garrett, he just toys with people. Baltimore is not off to a good start. They're not figuring out ways to string together, even one quarter of consistency, let alone a whole game. So for that reason, in Cleveland, give me the Browns.
I'm going with the Ravens in this game.
Interesting.
So, yes, inconsistency, sure. But I do trust Lamar to look better as they go ups and downs. I don't really believe in this Cleveland team whatsoever. I know they got a good defense, but that offense is not that good. They lost to the Steelers. The Steelers aren't actually very good. So I expect a better game from the Ravens and a little bit of this luck from the Browns to drop off, and give me the Ravens.
Yeah, I just don't trust in that Baltimore offense so far. It's been one of the worst in the league. So.
Oh, it's ugly.
Next up, you've got Cincinnati at Tennessee. I am going to go with Tennessee because it's at home and because they barely squeaked out a win this past Monday. Give me the team that has a little bit more rest. I know it's not been pretty, but let's just face it. I mean, what kind of offense does Cincinnati have, really? I mean, they don't. They have Burrow, and it's all on Burrow and his calf. So other than that, I just don't see how they can even put up a fight against okay or bad teams.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a pretty ugly game either way. The Titans stink. They stink.
For sure.
I wanted to believe, but you know what? They aren't good.
Yeah.
I am taking the Titans in this game because the Bengals might just not be good.
And I'm leaning toward that and injuries this year.
Yeah, so we agree on that game.
Okay. All right, moving forward, you've got the Rams at the Colts. Now, initially I liked what the Rams were doing, and I still do to a degree. But here come the Colts, 2-1, leading their division. And they have Anthony Richardson back, I believe, this week.
Yes.
Yeah. So
he's been practicing full.
Yeah.
It looks like
I like what they're doing. It's at home. I think they're going to etch out the Rams.
Yeah,
week.
we agree on this. I mean, the Rams looked really bad on Monday.
They did.
Without Puka Nacua, I think I got it.
Puka Nacua.
They just fell off a map. That's got alarm bells going off. And the Colts might be good. They
Colts
actually might be good. So
Anthony Richardson, high upside. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So having him back is huge. I do think they pull this one off.
Yeah. Okay. Next up, you've got Tampa Bay at New Orleans. Give me the Saints to take care of business at the crib. Tampa Bay laid an egg for sure on Monday night. So the Saints have a little bit more rest, a little bit more preparation time. Carr is questionable. They do get Alvin Kamara back next week, which will definitely ignite their offense, I think, all the more so. And they've got a pretty good defense. So for this reason, give me the Saints.
Yeah, I'm going Buccaneers on this game. I think you get Jameis Winston, and he finds creative ways for pick sixes. One of my favorite quarterbacks out there to watch. Mm-hmm. But the Bucs got embarrassed on Monday night. I think they have a bounce back. I think they actually are a better team than how they played. And I just don't think the Saints are that good to be able to counter it. Alvin Kamara's back, sure, but like you've seen with your Raiders and Josh Jacobs, it's just not. You're not going to just suddenly step in and be a great running back. So I think the Buccaneers edge out the Saints.
That's true. Okay. Next up, you've got Washington at the Eagles. This one was a no-brainer for me. Give me the Eagles.
I agree. The Commanders are fun.
They are.
They have a really good defense, but, I mean, without an offense, you're not going to win games.
This is very true. I do need to see more from Hurts, but that's on the side note. Down the road in
He'll
this
probably
show.
throw some picks.
Probably. Next up, you've got another toilet bowl.
Toilet bowl number two.
Yeah. You've got Minnesota at Carolina. and I have chose the Vikings a couple times this year to win, and they've disappointed me on multiple occasions. But I'm gonna stick it out. I'm gonna fucking pick them again this week, and they're gonna get me a win over the Carolina Panthers.
And you know what? I actually agree. I've got Minnesota this week for the first time ever.
Oh shit!
The Panthers are bad.
They are.
I don't know if they have Bryce Young back.
They do, I believe.
But they looked better with Andy Dalton. So I think the Minnesota Vikings will sneak out a win.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game. It'll probably be one of their famous one-score possession wins.
Oh, I need it to be a high-scoring game for Minnesota just because I've got Mr. Cousins in my lineup because he's normally
he'll probably
good.
be fine.
Yeah.
But I don't know that it's going to be touchdowns. But yeah, I think
Please make it
the Vikings pull out their first win.
Okay. Sweet. Well, next up you've got Pittsburgh at Houston. Tricky one because Houston's been surprising quite a few people. Pittsburgh just has a piss-poor offense, unless you're playing the Raiders, of course. But, I don't trust Pittsburgh. They've got TJ Watt, sure. But I think at home, this Houston team's been off to a surprisingly good start, like Pittsburgh. But I just think that Houston edges them slightly.
Give me Houston. Pittsburgh sucks.
Yeah. The terrible towels. I don't get it. I hate it.
I actually like that. I like that shit.
I hate it. Anyways, next up, this one was really, really, really tough. And I say this because I'm still unsure of who's going to play. This is half homer, half of what I've seen over the past 2 years when these two teams match up. This is Las Vegas against the Chargers at SoFi Stadium, which is pretty much going to be a home game, like 70% Raiders there. You could probably say this is the Raiders' first home game this year because fans don't travel as well as you'd think to Allegiant Stadium. They don't have a natural home base there like most people think. So it's going to be rowdy. It's going to be loud. They usually find a way to get to Justin Herbert. I think they'll use that recipe some. I think they'll fix some of the offense. If they even have a Aiden O'Connell sighting, they're going to be able to go deep. That means this, this Chargers team can't stack the box. So I like I said, it's partly homer, but I'm going to go with Vegas to bounce back.
I don't have any faith in the Raiders, especially after watching them lose to the Steelers. That was an ugly game.
It was.
I think the Chargers offense is going to be just slightly better. They'll be able to throw it on them, even with Mike Williams out. So I think the Chargers edge out the Raiders.
The Raiders. Okay, next up, you've got New England at Dallas. Dallas, you are going to have a big bounce back game, something tells me. At home, take care of business. Continue to be what you have been for these past weeks, except last week. That was bad.
It was not good.
But I think they're going to have a bounce back game and take care of business at home.
Micah Parsons went on a podcast and said, climbing a mountain is not always sunshine and rainbows.
That's right.
It's like, we get it. We lost.
Yeah.
I think they have some confidence. I do think they're a better team than what shows up. I expect to bounce back, and they luck out by playing the Patriots, who aren't good.
This is true. Okay, next up, you've got Arizona at San Francisco 49ers. This is easy. Give me the 49ers to slap up the Birds, the Cardinals.
Niners, but it's a fun game.
You think it's going to be a fun game? I think it's going to be a fairly low-scoring game, but I could be wrong in terms of Cardinals.
Just the way the Cardinals been playing, I think this will be fun.
They've been scrappy, but here comes the number 1 or 2 or 3 defense. I don't think they're going to be able to
I just have all the faith in the Niners.
Yeah, I like the Niners.
Yeah.
Next up, you've got Kansas at the Jets. Kansas is going to embarrass the Jets. They're probably going to, start to move off that narrative of we've got our guy. We've got our guy. Don't worry, we've got our guy. Yeah, they got
their guy now.
Oh, Trevor Siemian, yeah, for sure.
It's like his 7th team.
Oh boy, that just spells,
Yeah.
That just spells.
I mean, I don't
chaos
think
all over it.
Anybody's picking the Jets in this game. If you do, you're just a crazy person.
You just don't know ball.
I'm interested to see if this Jets defense shows up and what Kansas City looks against that. But I mean,
their defense, other than week 1, it was has been very, very bad, though, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. The Jets may not even score a touchdown in this game.
It could be a shutout. Yeah. Okay, next up, you've got the Monday night game, Seahawks at Giants. Give me the Seahawks.
Yeah, we agree on this one. I mean, the Giants are terrible.
Yeah,
the Seahawks are playing this really fun, scrappy style of offense. I think it'll at least be entertaining for a Monday night game, but I don't think the Giants stand a chance.
Neither do I. Well, that concludes our picks.
Should we go into our next segment?
Let's do it.
That is somehow the best and the worst transition sound ever.
Yeah. It's cringy, but it works.
I just love it so much.
Yeah.
And it was built in.
So our next segment is the buy and sell power rankings that we have developed for the past few weeks. It's a new segment. Actually, last week was our first.
Yep.
Yeah. So this is week 2 of this segment where we give you our top 15 teams in the power rankings. And if we are going to have our stock up, or if we're going to hold it, or if our stock is down. So here comes number 1. To no surprise, Miami Dolphins. After putting up 70 points against a Sean Payton team, you must give the 3-0 Dolphins a considerable nod. Tua is 51 yards away from leading in completion yards per passing this year. Their offense is ranked number 1. Passing is ranked number 1. Rushing is also ranked number 1. They're defensively finding their rhythm, being in the middle of the pack on turnovers. Let's not forget, though, the Chiefs Super Bowl team on both instances were a mid-pack type of defense, and they still, got the job done. And they relied on that high-scoring offense to get it done. And because of being the toughest team, in my opinion, from top to bottom, they're going to stay here number 1 until they prove me wrong. Also, big kudos to Mike McDaniel, who used to be a ball boy of the Denver Broncos, and he returned this week. It kind of felt like poetic justice to me with that complete stomping of the Broncos.
Yeah. I don't think there's going to be much difference in the first couple teams because there's only a handful of actually good teams this season. I got the Dolphins at number 1 with their stock up and up.
Yeah,
they were a field goal away from a historic amount of points, so I don't know how you keep them off the top.
Yeah, for sure. Next up, you've got the 49ers. Here's another 3-0 team that has played close to flawless football. They're 4th in offense and 3rd in defense, meaning they'll find a way to win one way or another. Beginning of the season, I said it's their Super Bowl to lose this year, and it's been that way until the rise of Miami, which is undeniable, and it wasn't really something that most of us saw. Coach Shanahan has a beautifully assembled team that has an amazing chemistry, in my opinion. Brock is coming more and more into form. I see him evolving into a great quarterback this year, and he has all the help he needs to lean on, from rushing, passing, defense as well. So my stock's up.
Yeah, same. I mean, we're talking the 2 best teams right now, so it's like 1A, 1B.
Right.
The Niners are in the second slot because they didn't score an historic amount of points.
Sure.
I mean, that's really it. Brock Purdy has had some comeback to earth moments with some accuracy issues, but it didn't seem to matter. They still get third downs to keep pushing.
Right.
They may have the best receiving core in total if you're talking pass catchers. So it's 1A, 1B. Dolphins 1, Niners 2.
Yeah. All right, so number 3, give me the Chiefs. 2-1. The inevitable thorn in the side, the pain in the ass team. Reminding everyone that until something drastic changes, they'll always be in the race or leading it, just depending on the year. I feel like they're nipping at the heels of the 2 teams listed above. With the offense that's showing flashbacks of last year's success. Their defense is coming into a better form early on this year, 6th ranked overall. I like their chances of contending. Could they be making a call before week 8 to some of these teams that are looking to sell off their wide receivers or their running backs?
I think everybody's way too high in the Chiefs right now. I know it's fun. I know Taylor Swift is fun. But what they've shown on the field is that they aren't that team that they were last year. Every power ranking I see, the Chiefs are so high, and I'm like, they lost to the Lions. They didn't look great against the Bills, and they just beat the worst team in the NFL. Sure. How are they so high? So With that being said, I have the Eagles at 3, which people may disagree with or not. But look, they're 3-0, so I don't know how you keep them out of this spot. They looked bad the first couple weeks. They looked much better Monday night. They're going to get first downs and touchdowns with that meat plow, or what's being called the tush push. I hate that name. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I like meat plow. But they'll continue to rack up wins. I think they're going to continue to play better. DeAndre Swift looks awesome running it for the Eagles, and Jalen Hurts looks better passing, even though he's throwing picks.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you how they're not number 3 because they're my number 4th. Eagles are 3-0. The record shows all wins, no losses. Sure, but they, I'm going to continue to beat this drum and say that Jalen Hurts looks off with multiple interceptions and turnovers that come from his, plays alone. He needs to clean that up if they're going to have any chance of competing down the stretch this season. Their defense isn't what it was last year, not even close. I do think that can change and improve near the weeks to come, but for now, my stock's on hold because they need to find other ways to win.
Well, my number 4 spot, I got the Bills with their stock up. That week 1 loss is a distant memory. It was just their fluke week on the first week.
Sure.
They look much better. I think they got 5,000 picks off Sam Howell last week.
Yeah, that was insane.
But the Commanders kicked a field goal just not to get blanked in that game. They look like what we thought they were going to look like coming into the season, so I'm buying in at number 4, stock up.
Number 5, I've got the Bills. The Josh Allen back and forth gives me the biggest fucking headache. It really does. Game 1 in the loss, he had 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. Game 2, he returns and has this dominating performance against the Raiders with 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Just to turn back around and have a below-average game against the Commanders, which they would end up winning, sure, but it wasn't because of some crazy performance by him. I just want some consistency out of this guy, if that's not too much to ask, because I can tell you with the weekend's matchup against the Dolphins, he's going to need to bring his A-plus game to even stand a chance. So they are my number 5. Hold my stock.
For number 5, I cheated a little bit.
Okay.
I've got the Lions and the Chiefs. Both stock up, but both these teams feel the exact same to me.
Okay.
They had surprising early losses, with the Lions beating the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And then Lions losing week 2. They've had a bounce back. The Chiefs didn't give the Bears a chance, or the Chiefs didn't give the Bears a chance in week 3, but the Bears are the worst team in the NFL.
Right.
I think if the Lions and the Chiefs played, it would be 50-50. Like, they feel exactly the same to me.
Close. Yeah.
So the stock is up on both of them because they're coming off wins.
Yeah.
But I have them the exact same spot at number 5.
Okay. Number 6, I've got the Cowboys at 2-1, but that got embarrassed by the tanking Cardinals, or at least we thought they were tanking preseason. Getting beat by a backup QB with a defense that, is really not that great. I mean, I get that the Cowboys defense just lost Trayvon Diggs and their defense is still phenomenal. But for that reason, you have to beat a Cardinals team. There's no other way to slice it. The problem here is that once the defense has an off game, the offense has to be able to pick up the slack. And if you can't do that against the Arizona Cardinals team, I question the legitimacy of your early 2-1 start. But do give me a bounce back game this week. And if that happens, I'll change my tune. Until then, hold my stock.
We both have the Cowboys in the same spot. We're both holding. That was bad last week. It was very bad.
For sure.
Through the first 2 weeks, this was a team that people were saying we're going to go all the way to the Super Bowl and represent the NFC.
Yeah.
That was a shocking upset against the Cardinals. And granted, the Cardinals are playing good football.
Yeah.
But you can't do that if you're one of these teams. So I'm going to say fluke loss. I want to give them the benefit of the doubt, so I'm holding stock, and they're still at number 6.
Okay. Number 7, I've got the Lions at they're 2-1 right now. I like what they've been able to do over the past, few weeks. Making that opening statement in Arrowhead was not a fluke. Trust me. They've had a tough loss against the Seahawks, but they bounced back against the scrappy Falcons team the following week. I think tonight will cement their spot with what I predict to be a win over the Packers team. they have a top 10 offense with an 11th ranked defense. My stock's up.
Well, I've got the Ravens coming in at number 7, but my stock is down.
Yeah.
Inconsistent to say the least. They
Sure.
look like they cleaned it up in week 2, but then
Yeah.
came out of week 3 and looked just as ugly as ever with a loss.
Yeah.
I expect them to clean it up again, but they need to get in the lab and figure it out.
Yeah, no doubt. They do. Okay, next up, I've got the Browns at number 8. 2-1 right now. This number 1 overall ranked defense is no joke. Myles Garrett is leading that locker room of men to enforce his bidding, and I love it. Their offense is off to a better start than I predicted. And in comparison to the rest of the AFC North division and the inconsistency that lies in both the Ravens and the Steelers, I like their chances in the race, so my stock is up.
We both have the Browns in the same spot. We both have our stock up. Look, they're winning football games.
Yeah.
I just hate that they're here. I really do.
Yeah,
You know, the defense is the real deal. Don't get me wrong.
sure.
But Deshaun Watson is nowhere what he was when he was with Texas.
He's not. We agree on
He's
that.
even throwing the ball backwards.
Yeah.
Like a really cool clip, cool highlight from last week. Funny to watch. But, I mean, the defense can carry them to some wins, especially in that division.
Sure.
So they're on here, and I don't like it.
If he cleans it up, I mean, if he's even 50% of, or 60%, or let's just say 65% of 2019, they could be a pretty scary team. Because right now, I don't even think he's 30% of that.
No, he looks completely different.
Yeah. But if he cleans it up, figures out a way to be mediocre, watch out for sure. Seahawks. They're my number 9. 2-1. It's been up and down with their performance, but they continue to put up high scoring offense with Geno and the rest of the group. With a favorable schedule coming up, I'm going to hold my stock, but say that they're my number 9th.
I got him at 9 too, and my stock is up.
Yeah.
They're playing gritty football.
Wasn't it 35 points per last 2 games?
I think so.
So they put up 70 in the last 2 weeks, which is good.
I mean, they're getting it done.
Yeah.
It's ugly, but it's
It
kind of
is.
fun to watch.
Sure.
I mean, they'll get some wins and get everyone to run for their money. I mean, Zach Charbonnet, think I got that right, knocked a dude into the shadow zone last week.
Oh, that was like, I wanted to highlight that clip because this guy just knocks him back into the 50s. Like, just straight up, just hits the fuck out of this dude and sends him flying.
Dude, if Jacked Up was still a series on pregame, that would have made it by everyone.
You're not stopping him once he starts running downhill. It's like, good luck.
Yeah, it was one of the coolest highlights from last week.
for sure.
Yeah, Seahawks at 9, stock up.
Yeah. Okay. Number 10, I've got the Ravens at 2-1. Lamar and company, they're off to a sluggish start, but I don't believe it'll stay that way for much longer. But this week's matchup will have to result in a win for me to double down on that statement. With the matchup against the Browns, I'm going to name some stats, for this team probably following that, but not today, in terms of what they've been doing so far, because it doesn't look like a real outlier of the season to come for them. So hold my stock for now.
At number 10, I've got my Green Bay Packers, who didn't even make the list last week, but they're coming off a come-from-behind win, which may be crazy that I'm putting them up this high, but they do not quit. It's not pretty, but they've never given up. They're doing it they're 2-1 without most of their talent. Christian Watson has not seen the field. He'll see it tonight. They get their weapons back, although they are going without David Bakhtiari now for a while because they just put him on IR today.
That sucks. That's a loss.
But I'm just going to say watch out for this team. I think they're going to give the Lions a run for their money tonight, be the top of the division, and they're just going to always find a way to win.
Yeah. Well, it's not too crazy that you have them up this high because I have them at number 11.
Yeah, buddy.
2-1, they strung together some tough wins, and this was without their top players for these wins. This team's just got grit. And Jordan Love, impressive start. He takes care of the ball. 7 touchdowns to 1 interception so far. And this next couple weeks will be very telling, especially because they have, Watson and Jones back. So pretty scary team when they've got all their pieces. I want to see how the chemistry is, of course.
That's a concern
That
with
is,
Watson.
That is a thing. So, but my stock is up on the Packers.
I've got, at number 11, the Atlanta Falcons holding. They're in the exact same position as last week. They got a good defense. They're enough to make a game hard, but they really don't have much for offense. But they play with heart. Bijan Robinson can keep them on the field to at least keep it moving.
Yeah.
And they'll squeak out wins that way. So, same spot.
Okay. Well, they actually fell out of my rankings entirely just because of the way that conference is shaking up, and because I do feel that their offense is one-dimensional. They don't have a quarterback.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a problem for the weeks to come. So at number 12, I've got someone in that division, but it is the Saints. 2-1, Derek Carr is going down, or he went down, last week, which was scary. But he's questionable ahead of this week's divisional matchup against the Buccaneers. That's going to be a very telling game. Kamara comes back the following week. Let's see if they can get that rolling. I see this team as a problem if they can. As long as they can keep Carr upright and a defense that can, back him if he's not having the best game, which is a first for his career. I think, they'll continue to improve, but I'm going to say hold my stock.
We both have the Saints in the same spot here at number 12. My stock is down. Obviously, they lost Derek Carr. The best news they got is that it's not for the season.
Right. He's questionable.
Yeah, he's questionable. You're probably going to get Jameis this week. But without Derek Carr, it depends on what Jameis comes out to play.
Yeah.
Is it pick six Jameis, or is it actually looks okay on the Saints Jameis?
Yeah.
You never know.
You never know.
Kamara's back. I've already said you don't know what he's going to look like because he hasn't played yet.
Yeah.
So it might be a few weeks before Kamara comes to form. So in
Sure.
the meantime, I think they're going to drop some.
Yeah, okay. I've got the Steelers at number 13. They're also 2-1. A lot of 2-1 teams this year. They tend to get ugly wins, with the exception against the Raiders, making them look like an all-pro team. No surprise there for that one win, but I kind of think that was a fluke. They lead their division for now, and I think they can continue to do so over the next couple of weeks, but with a sluggish offense and a bottom-ranked defense as well, I don't think it'll sustain for the entirety of the season, so I am going to have my stock down for them.
I've got the Steelers in the same spot. My stock is up only because they're winning, even though I picked against them this week.
Yeah.
I hate that they're here because I don't think this is a good team.
Sure.
They just beat the Raiders last week, Ryan's Raiders, who just laid a stinker.
A big stinker.
So I don't think they're that good, but they're winning and they're 2-1.
Yeah.
So here they are, 13.
So I've got a team with a losing record at number 14, which might confuse some people, but Rams at 1-2. I'm going to cut them some slack against the game this past Monday versus the Bengals, but they do have some fantastic pieces surrounding Matt Stafford, ninth in offense, seventh in defense, and fourth in pass offense. I like what McVay has at his disposal, but with a tough upcoming schedule, I'm going to hold my stock for now until I see them string along some wins. I just think that they're capable of doing it.
I've got the Jaguars, and my stock is down.
Yeah, they didn't even make my list.
I'm surprised they're even on this list, to be honest with you. The only thing that kept them on was that week 2 performance where they held their own.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence has still had flashes of looking like he's a good quarterback, but my expectation is they lose this week and they're not even on the list next week.
That's fair. All right, at number 15, my final spot, you've got the Colts, 2-1. I didn't see this coming, nor did I see them leading their division, but the Jaguars continually struggle along with the rest of that division. Meanwhile, Theyre Franklin leads the NFL as defensive leaders. They will need some help from the rest of the defensive group, but Anthony Richardson, he's coming back, so that I feel like that will boost them and give them a second win for games to come. I'm going to hold my stock, though.
I've got the Colts here as well. Stock up. They might be a good team. They actually might be a good team. So that's why I wanted to include them on here because they snuck out a win this last week.
They're leading their division.
And that was with Gardner Minshew.
Yeah, they're leading their division. So
Anthony Richardson looks solid. I think they're going to win this week. So I just see them on the rise.
I do too. That's why I just said hold though, because I want to see it before I before I put a little too much faith in them.
I think I'm just getting too excited about them.
I'm a little jaded.
I like teams that weren't supposed to be good that are suddenly good. Maybe that's why I'm so high in the Bucks, who didn't make the list, but like why I just keep believing in it because I'm like, they were supposed to be trash, but look at them go.
That's why I continue to root so hard for the Raiders, because one of these years, everyone's going to say they're going to be trash and they're going to be good.
Someday it'll happen.
Someday.
I hope it happens in your lifetime.
It's going to happen as long as they continue to, lose and get us into a top 5. But, they're going to need some other help, like fire Josh McFucking Dummyhead before that happens. Nah. Fuck that guy. He talks longer than he talks longer than anyone else without saying a single word of like anything that's meaningful. When he gets asked a question, he just says, "Yeah, they know, and you know how it is, I don't know." And everyone just kind of scratches their head like, "What did you say other than I know, they know?"
I've never been a believer. I don't think they'll keep him around.
He talked himself into that position. But anyways, that is my little mini rant.
All right, so that was our weekly picks.
That's right.
And our buy-sell rankings. So that's today's show.
Thank you for tuning in.
We'll put this out, and I just want to say ahead of time, good job, Green Bay Packers, for pulling it off. Most of you will listen to this after that game was played. So, the Packers taking the division is awesome. Good job, Green Bay Packers.
If you lose,
if
you lose this game tonight, I'm going to text you mid-show. While I'm at Avenged Sevenfold, just saying, hey, I thought I'd text you real quick just to say,
where you at? I'm confident. I got that confidence, baby.
I do like the Packers.
All right. So, hey, we recorded this on video. We finally got our last episode up on YouTube. Look, this is a DIY podcast. Yeah. We might have some hiccups. I found out my internet is terrible, and I was going to take 14 hours to upload it, so I had to crash that, go over to Ryan's house and upload it.
Luckily, mine is pretty good.
Yeah. So we are going to record this. I will edit it up, get it put out, but don't forget to follow us, like, subscribe.
Please.
YouTube. Yeah. Instagram and Twitter, all at Sports Force Pod. Check us out on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify. Rate, leave a review.
Yes.
You have to do 5 stars to leave a review.
It must be 5 stars.
It's just what the rules are.
Yeah, otherwise I don't give a shit what you say.
Ooh, yeah. How about that? We don't even listen to you haters.
How about that?
All right, we will be back next week with our full show, going over our overreactions and underlying stories from week 4.
Yes, sir.
You all have a good weekend.
Take care, guys.
Peace.